So, if you're feeling lost, restless, or as if something significant is missing, that can be a sign that you might not be in or be fully aligned with your purpose. Fear can manifest in many ways and can be triggered by different experiences, whether it's a fear of failure, fear of rejection, or something more tangible like I used to have, a fear of heights and a fear of public speaking. Hello and welcome again to She with Ade The One, the podcast for ordinary women with extraordinary stories. I'm your host Ade, and this is the final episode in January, the month of new beginnings, your question and answer episode. I know that some of you are starting fresh this year, whether it's a new career, relationships, health, or personal growth, and I'm here to answer some of your questions, share insights, and provide hopefully some practical tips to help you stay on track. While my inbox wasn't exactly overflowing with questions this time around, I'd like to shout out to the wonderful Olawumi Fatono and to Kerry Bartley, who sent in some really thoughtful questions, and to Eniola Adeoba, who commented that she is making her goals smarter this year. That fills my heart with joy. Thank you to everyone who's left an encouraging comment on the podcast, on social media, and even told me in person. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and I don't take your involvement for granted. So, as usual, let's start with a moment of gratitude. What are you truly grateful for today? As you take a deep breath and ponder, I'd like to share that this is particularly special for me as we dive into the fourth episode, because this time last month, she did not exist. So I'm deeply grateful for the journey we've embarked on together. Now, let's get into our rich discussion on overcoming fears and pursuing our deepest aspirations. The first question I have is, well, the first two questions really relate directly to the same subject of fear. Question one is, what are you most fearful and apprehensive about achieving your goals? And the second one, what personal strategies have you found effective for overcoming fear? I think I might start with the second question first, and then I'll tell you what my current fear is. Fear has this uncanny ability, doesn't it, to magnify all the what ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What will people say? What if they judge me? What if my family isn't in agreement and I have to do this alone? It can feel absolutely suffocating, like you're carrying a heavy backpack of doubts before you've even taken a step. A woman I know, I'll call her Amara, she shared her story of leaving her 9 to 5 with me to launch her dream business. On her last day of work, she sat in the car frozen with fear. She kept thinking, what if this dream falls apart? What if I can't pay my bills? Fear can manifest in many ways and can be triggered by different experiences, whether it's a fear of failure, fear of rejection, or something more tangible like I used to have, a fear of heights and a fear of public speaking. The strategies to manage them can be universally applied, as research suggests that gradual exposure therapy, which I personally use to tackle my fear of heights, can be effective for a variety of fears. This method involves slowly and repeatedly exposing yourself to the fear in a controlled and safe manner, which can decrease the fear response over time. I remember starting small, challenging myself first on the on the fair rides with my little children. I remember my very first fair ride. I came down feeling and actually being violently sick, so much so that the park attendant came round to say, have you had too much to drink, love? Imagine. After that, I stepped onto the glass bridge at the Tower of London, moving on to zip lining, and finally, in 2023, I did a skydive in Cancun, Mexico. I conquered a fear of public speaking in a very similar manner by enrolling in a popular speakers academy and getting to do it first in small groups, learning technique and feeling safe with a group of my peers. Each small step has been a victory achieved through gradual exposure and reinforced by that exhilarating feeling of victory. What helped Amara move forward was breaking the fear again into smaller pieces. Instead of thinking about all the risks, I advised, what is one thing that you can do today to move closer to that dream? So that day, she researched business licenses. The next, she registered her name. Each tiny action chipped away at the fear until it felt manageable. Overcoming fears, especially deep-rooted ones though, can often require a multifaceted approach. Working with a coach or a counsellor can provide professional guidance and support, and I myself have used both in support of myself at various times. Personal strategies like journaling and practicing mindfulness can actually empower you to manage and mitigate those fears by fostering a deeper understanding of their origins and their triggers. So mindfulness allows us to stay present and focused, and that can reduce the overwhelming feelings that can accompany fear. One of my personal favorites is maintaining a journal. It's really because this can help you track your fear responses, your victories, and provide insights into patterns and progress. The act of writing itself I find therapeutic as it allows me to express and process emotions linked to fear. So combining these practices with professional guidance, if necessary, can lead to significant breakthroughs in how we handle our fears. Currently, perhaps my greatest fear is not fully realizing my potential and leaving this earth with ideas unexplored and contributions unmade. Ooh. It's like what Steve Jobs said, remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've encountered to help me make the big choices in life. To combat this fear, I try to live each day with intention, ensuring that my actions align with my deepest values and contribute to my legacy. So overall, my advice would be don't try to conquer fear all at once. Start small. Break your next step into something so easy it feels almost silly, like researching, making a call, or writing a list. And remind yourself, fear isn't a stop sign. It's a sign that you're growing. If you've read Susan Jeffers' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, you'll realize that courage is not the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear and going for your dreams regardless. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with fear. What have you faced and how have you managed it? Your stories are incredibly powerful, not just for you, but for others listening who might find some inspiration and practical tips in your journey. So please share your thoughts and experiences with us. My next question is, how do you chase your dreams while keeping a roof over your head and food on the table? So again, this is sort of linked to the first two. I would say striking a balance between following your dreams and ensuring financial stability is both an art and a science. Diversifying your income through a side gig, side hustle, or passive income streams like Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki suggests can provide financial cushioning that allows you to explore your passions without financial stress. However, you can also integrate your current career with your passions by finding some intersection where those skills can be monetized. And that can ensure that your work is not only a source of income, but also a source of fulfillment. Warren Buffett, who's arguably one of the richest men in the world, his advice on financial prudence is important here. He famously said, "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving." In other words, pay yourself first. This approach to financial management emphasizes the importance of prioritizing savings and investments and ensuring that you secure your financial future whilst pursuing what makes you passionate. By applying this principle, you can create a safety net that allows you the freedom to chase your dreams without jeopardizing your essential needs. Chasing dreams while ensuring financial stability, however, is not just about saving money. It's about creatively leveraging all your available resources beyond traditional income and savings. Innovative financial strategies such as crowdfunding for your project, grants for creative projects, or even starting a side hustle that aligns with your passions can provide necessary funds without compromising your financial health. Ask your local council or the equivalent in your location. Moreover, support from friends and family and mentors can also be just as crucial as financial capital. You asking for help isn't just about seeking financial assistance. It's about gathering a community around you that supports your dreams and could mean anything from moral support and advice to hands-on help with your projects. So mentors can offer invaluable guidance and open doors to new opportunities, while peers can provide encouragement needed to keep pushing forward. In addition to financial and community support, acquiring knowledge and skills is fundamental. Happily, we live in a digital age that offers vast resources, often at little or no cost. So platforms like YouTube, the University of YouTube, provide free tutorials on almost anything, from coding to cooking to painting to programming. Moreover, there are websites like Udemy or Coursera, and they offer courses at minimal cost that can help you build some necessary skills without the burden of traditional education expenses. The key is to be proactive and resourceful. For example, if you're looking to start a photography business, you might use online tutorials to master your technique. Seek feedback from a photography club and use social media to market your services affordably. How have you utilized unconventional resources or support systems in your pursuit of a dream? What creative strategies have worked for you in balancing your financial needs with chasing your passions? Let us know. Drop us a comment. I like this next question because it pertains to one of the episodes. And it says, Joanne Maturi said, if you're not living your purpose, you're starving your soul. How do I know if I'm living my purpose? Identifying whether you're living your purpose often involves a deep sense of fulfillment and alignment with your activities. So, if you're feeling lost, restless, or as if something significant is missing, that can be a sign that you might not be in or be fully aligned with your purpose. I was feeling this way a lot before I retired. Simon Sinek, in his book Start With Why, emphasizes the importance of understanding why you do what you do. This why is the fundamental belief that motivates all your actions. It's more than just achieving goals. It's about the fulfillment that comes from doing the things that resonate with that same word again, core values. To explore this further, you might apply the concept of ikigai, a Japanese philosophy that means a reason for being. It is incredibly useful. Ikigai is where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for all intersect. Finding your ikigai involves deep self-exploration and can significantly contribute to living a life that feels truly meaningful. Together, these frameworks can help you dissect different layers of your life's pursuits and clarify whether they align with your inner values and long-term happiness. Other practical steps to uncover your why can include reflecting on when you feel most alive, or writing down moments when you felt genuinely proud of your achievements. These reflections can point to your underlying motivations. Similarly, exploring your ikigai can start with listing what you're passionate about, your skills, societal needs, ways you can monetize those interests. When have you felt that your work or your hobbies weren't just tasks, but a calling? How did this realization impact your approach to life? My next question is, how do you keep going in the face of cultural misunderstanding and bias? Oh, I've been there, you see. Addressing cultural misunderstanding and bias, especially as a woman, involves a strategic and resilient approach. Empowerment, advocacy, support networks, and continuous professional development, to my mind, are the key facets of this strategy. But equally important is the opportunity to innovate and carve out niches for your unique experiences. So educate yourself about your rights and the dynamics of your industry. This knowledge equips you to navigate and confront biases effectively. Understand the legal framework within your workplace. Understand how to advocate for yourself and for others. Create or join groups that provide support, such as a professional network, either for women or a combination of the sexes, and join some mentoring circles. These groups can offer solidarity and practical advice, helping you to mitigate the impact of these biases and fostering a community of encouragement and empowerment. Take some active steps to advocate for inclusivity in your organization. This could involve proposing some new policies, you participating in diversity and inclusion initiatives, or leading educational workshops to raise awareness about cultural competence. Don't forget to keep advancing your own skills through courses and professional training. That will enhance your ability, your capability, but also strengthens your position as a leader and an expert in your own field, helping to counteract stereotypes and biases. Remember our January panelists. There's some exemplary models of leveraging personal experiences into successful niches. In the person of Sally Bossman, for example, who gave up teaching middle school to retrain in research, statistics, and IT, and now, as lead analyst, provides clinical data free of bias to clinicians to enhance patient care. Or think of Dr. Okulaja, who founded the Doctor's House of Integrative Medicine, of integrative medicine after leaving a previous practice where her values were not aligned. This bold move allowed her to establish a practice that not only reflected her holistic approach to medicine, but addressed a gap in patient-centered care. That decision underscores how professional environments that do not align with your values can catalyze the creation of innovative ventures that better meet your personal needs and your community needs. Reflecting on your own experiences, how do you think you might leverage your unique background to create opportunities or a niche that addresses the gaps in your industry or community? Where have you seen examples in your life or others where a negative experience was transformed into a proactive solution? Next question is, how do you deal with setbacks and failures in pursuit of your goals? Setbacks and failures are an inevitable part of any meaningful pursuit. Carol Dweck, in her influential book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, she introduces the concept of a growth mindset, which is a way of viewing challenges and failures as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. A growth mindset is the belief that your basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just a starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. So, for instance, imagine a student who struggles with maths with a fixed mindset. This student might think, well, I'm no good at maths and I never will be, and he gives up. Of course, he never will be. However, with a growth mindset, the same student might think, I need to develop my skills in maths through practice and perhaps some help from a tutor. This perspective encourages the student not only to persist, but also find methods that can improve their understanding and skills, despite initial difficulties or failures. Applying this same growth mindset to our own lives means when we face setbacks, we don't see them as proof of our incapability, but as opportunities to learn and adapt. For example, if a project at work doesn't go as planned, instead of beating ourselves up, we analyze what went wrong, seek feedback, and use this information to better our approach in the future. Perhaps a powerful example of this mindset in action comes from the world of professional sports. Now, I'm probably showing my age a little here, but if you remember the basketball legend Magic Johnson, well, he missed 9,000 shots during the course of his career. For every successful hoop, countless others didn't make it. But each miss was a chance for him to refine his technique and his approach. This statistic highlights that even the greatest talents rely not just on inherent skill, but on their capacity to persist through failure, and it's applicable to us all. For instance, if you're working on a project that faces criticism or doesn't yield the expected results, instead of viewing it as a failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? What can be improved? How can I approach it differently based on feedback? By adopting a growth mindset, every setback becomes a step forward. I'm reminded of my grandbaby's journeys to walking. First, they're held everywhere, then they learn to pull themselves up onto their stomachs, and soon they're exploring the world of crawling, pulling themselves up to stand, and then taking tentative baby steps. Of course, they fall down numerous times, but I've never seen a baby or toddler decide, oops, I fell down, I can't do this anymore, and then proceed to sit on their tods for the next 40 years. No, they get up, they keep going, and soon they're running around and doing all sorts that I can't even keep up with. So reflect on a recent challenge you faced. How did you handle it? If you applied a growth mindset, how might your approach change in the future based on what you've learned from Magic Johnson's perseverance and Carol Dweck's principles? Let's go to another question, shall we? I like this one. With so many motivational speakers and advice on social media, how do you narrow down who to listen to, follow, and focus on? Choosing the right sources of motivation and advice in a world hyper-saturated with influencers and experts requires a discerning approach. It's not just about who speaks the loudest, but about who resonates with you on a deep level, who matches your learning style. So first, identify that learning style. How do you learn best? Are you a visual learner who benefits from diagrams, video? Do auditory discussions and podcasts engage you more effectively? Or do you prefer reading detailed articles and books that allow you to absorb information at your own pace? Recognizing your learning style can significantly narrow your search and enhance your learning efficiency. For instance, visual learners might benefit from following speakers who use compelling visual content on platforms like YouTube or Instagram. I like to make use of dead time, periods when you're commuting, exercising, doing household chores. I even like listening in the shower. Podcasts and audiobooks are perfect for these moments. So, for example, listening to Simon Sinek's talks on leadership during a morning walk or tuning into Brené Brown's podcast while commuting can turn these routine activities into valuable learning opportunities. Next thing I'd like to mention is that you probably need to evaluate the content for quality and relevance. So focus on the content quality and relevance to your personal and professional growth. Does the speaker provide actionable advice, or is it mostly motivational fluff? I like leaders like Seth Godin who blend deep insights with actionable advice, and they can be more beneficial than those who offer generic inspirational messages. Listen, there's a time that we all need generic inspirational messages, but check their credentials and the testimonies of other listeners to gauge the impact of the teachings. While it's really important to find speakers who match your learning style, also seek out a diverse range of voices to broaden your perspective. And this can include some industry leaders, cultural commentators, or even philosophers. Following someone like Yuval Noah Harari, it's a mouthful, alongside more conventional motivational speakers can provide you with a broader, more critical understanding of the topics that interest you. Choose speakers who not only inspire but provide worksheets, actionable steps, or challenges that encourage you to put what you've learned into practice. So if improving productivity is your goal, you might benefit from following David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done. And he does provide specific productivity enhancing practices. Ask yourself, reflective questions like, how can I apply this in my daily life? What specific change can I make this week based on what I've learned? This practice helps to solidify the learning and ensures that whatever inspirational or motivational content you consume has a real impact on your life. I'd like to ask, how do you filter through the vast amount of content available to you? What strategies have you found effective in choosing who to listen to and what learning materials to use? My last two questions I'm going to combine again because they're similar. What is one piece of advice you'd give to someone feeling overwhelmed by their goals? And how do you handle setbacks and failures when progress seems slow? When tackling large goals, the dual challenges of feeling overwhelmed and experiencing slow progress can significantly impact our motivation and perseverance. These issues, while related, require a strategic approach that keeps us grounded and moving forward even when the path seems steep. So my strategy for managing overwhelm is to break down large goals into smaller tasks. Start by decomposing those large goals into more manageable tasks, which reduces the psychological burden and makes each step feel achievable. So, if your goal is to lose 13 kilograms in this year, when you realize that that only comes to 1 point, maybe 0.6 kilograms per month, it suddenly doesn't seem so undoable, does it? Further, outline specific weekly actions that contribute to this monthly goal. So I would be thinking of planning meals, scheduling exercise, preparing healthy snacks. Establish some regular checkpoints because this is crucial for both tracking your progress and adjusting strategies. Remember, SMART goals: evaluate and reflect. Evaluate and readjust. So monthly and quarterly reviews allow you to see how well you're doing against your targets and make the necessary adjustments. These holding place time points, these checkpoints, serve as moments to reflect on what's working and what isn't. And it enables you to, redefine your approach continually. I wouldn't check my weight or measure the inches lost every day. That's setting yourself up for frustration. Once a week is more than adequate, and definitely monthly is probably even better. Build a robust support system, whether it's a professional mentor, a supportive friend, or an online community. Have a network that understands and supports your journey, because this can make all the difference. Share those experiences, seek advice, and allow the encouragement from others to boost your resilience and commitment. How about learning from setbacks? Remember, adopting that growth mindset towards setbacks and slow progress. Every obstacle is a learning opportunity. If progress towards your goal, say of weight loss stalls, for instance, analyze what factors contributed to the plateau. Was it a lapse in the diet, decreased physical activity, or something else? Perhaps life threw you a curveball. Use this insight to adapt and enhance your strategy. Don't forget, celebrate those small wins. I used to suck at this. Recognizing and celebrating small achievements is vital. These victories, no matter how small, no matter how minor, provide a significant motivational boost. So celebrate sticking to your meal plan for a week or completing all the scheduled exercise sessions. These celebrations reinforce positive behaviour and they help you to maintain momentum. My question back to you is, how do you tackle the feeling of being overwhelmed by your goals? What strategies have you found effective in maintaining motivation when progress seems slow? Have you had an experience where adjusting your approach helps you? Before I finally wrap up, here are 3 practical steps, fundamental if you like, for anyone navigating a new beginning. Start with your values. I cannot emphasize that enough. Let your values guide your choices and keep you grounded. Secondly, celebrate every small win. Every tiny bit of success is proof that you're moving forward. Don't forget, feeling the fear and doing it anyway is where it's at. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Give yourself grace as you navigate the journey. Hold yourself. Be your own greatest champion. Let's turn all this reflection into some action. I challenge you to take one small step towards your goal this week, whether it's writing down your why, making that phone call, seeking out a community that supports your growth. Do share with me via email or social media. I'd love to celebrate that progress with you. Remember, I have created an alphabetical list of values for you, which you can request by getting in touch. So that's it. Today's question and answers done. Remember, new beginnings aren't about perfection. They're about courage, intention, and persistence. I'd like to thank you again for spending this time with me. And until the next time, take care.